A few weeks ago, I introduced the Owning Tomorrow performance model to explore the question of what actually drives individual performance over time. That model is built around three interconnected realities everyone has to navigate. Hi, I'm John Firth, CEO and Senior Executive Coach, Speaker, and author of the book Owning Tomorrow, The Unstoppable Force of Disruptive Leadership. First, there's the internal world, your identity as a leader, your mindset, beliefs, emotional responses under pressure, and the stories you tell yourself about who you are and what's possible. Second, there are your aspirations and outcomes, the future you're trying to create, the results you're accountable for, the vision, goals, and strategic intent that give your leadership direction. And third, there's the external world, markets, competitors, boards, employees, family, global events. All of these forces you don't control, but absolutely have to deal with. Leadership performance lives at the intersection of these three. When they're aligned, leaders create momentum. When they're not, even the best strategies stall. Today, I want to go one deeper into this model. I'm going to walk you through what I call the 6+2 of leadership, the specific capabilities and conditions that determine whether a leader turns intent into outcomes or ends up reacting to events. These aren't personality traits. They're not theoretical concepts. They're practical levers leaders pull, consciously or unconsciously, every single day. Together, they form the operating system behind the Owning Tomorrow performance model. Before we talk about the operational P's, we need to start with the two that frame everything else. Purpose. Purpose is the why behind every decision you make. Not the slogan on your website, not the mission statement in your board deck. Real purpose answers harder questions. Why does this organization deserve to exist right now? What future are we trying to create or avoid? And what trade-offs are we willing to make to get there? When purpose is clear, decisions accelerate. When it's fuzzy, leaders hesitate, overanalyze, or default to consensus. Purpose turns activity into direction. People. Leadership never happens in isolation. Everything you accomplish happens through people, employees, colleagues, boards, customers, investors, and external stakeholders. People bring experience and talent. They also bring emotions, beliefs, fears, and personal histories. Strong leaders don't wish this complexity away. They understand it and lead through it. With purpose and people as the frame, we move to the 6 operational P's. Planning. Planning is not about predicting the future. It's about preparing for multiple futures. High-performing leaders plan with humility. They assume they're wrong. They build options. They leave room to adapt. Weak planning clings to certainty. Strong planning creates strategic agility. In volatile environments, planning isn't a document. It's an ongoing leadership discipline. Productivity. Productivity is not about being busy. It's about converting time, energy, and attention into outcomes that actually matter. Most leaders don't have a time problem. They have a focus problem. Great leaders prioritize relentlessly, eliminate low-value work, and protect their cognitive bandwidth. And at the leadership level, productivity is about leverage, not effort. 3, persuasion. Persuasion is the engine of leadership. If you can't persuade, you can't align. And if you can't align, you can't execute at scale. This isn't manipulation. It's the ability to connect logic, emotion, and credibility. Strong leaders understand what different stakeholders care about and why resistance is often rooted in fear, not disagreement. Persuasion turns intent into collective action. 4, perseverance. Every leadership journey includes moments when results stall, criticism increases, and doubt creeps in. Perseverance is not stubbornness. It's the ability to stay committed while still learning and adjusting. Many leaders don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they underestimate the emotional cost of leadership. Perseverance is sustained commitment in the face of uncertainty. 5, perception. Perception shapes everything. It includes how you see the world, how others see you, and how those interpretations influence decisions and behaviors. Leaders don't respond to reality. They respond to their interpretation of reality. The best leaders actively challenge their assumptions. What might I be missing? What am I taking for granted? How could someone else reasonably see this differently? Perception determines the quality of every decision that follows. 6. Programming. Programming is the deepest and most powerful of the P's. It refers to the mental software running in the background, beliefs, mindsets, default reactions, and emotional patterns under stress. Much of leadership performance isn't conscious. It's automatic. The question isn't whether you're programmed, it's who wrote the code and whether it still serves you. Great leaders intentionally reprogram how they respond to pressure, setbacks, and uncertainty. And they don't do that just to themselves, but those who work for them. This is where real transformation happens. The 6 plus 2 Ps are not a checklist. They're a system. Purpose gives direction. People provides the medium. The 6 operational Ps determine whether intention becomes reality. When these elements are aligned, leaders don't just perform better, they lead with clarity, resilience, and credibility. And in a world defined by disruption and uncertainty, that alignment is no longer optional. It is the work of leadership.